What's up, Pirates? Ray Talks here with Awaken TCG, and today we're back with another video. Today's video, we're going to be going over the core TCG's Pasadena online regionals. A big shout out to Eggman. He worked so hard to get these out, and this tournament literally finished yesterday, and he already has the leader breakdown, the top 32, every single one of the top 32's deck ready to go. He's truly amazing, and so I will leave the link to his YouTube channel and to this website down below so you guys can go check him out, give him a follow. I know he'd appreciate that. But let's get right into this video here. So today, obviously, like I said, the core TCG's Pasadena online regional, or offline regional, which I did attend and didn't do so well in. You can watch my previous video. I'll also have that link down in the description if you guys want to watch about my experience playing and how I felt about my deck, right? But more about that later. Let's go over the leader breakdown. So for starters, we have the majority of our players here on KATA. As you can see, it's a little over a quarter, almost a third of the player base. I'm not sure what the total number is here, but you can add up the decks and get the total. It was over 1,300 players. We have 376 categories, which honestly makes sense, right? We got rid of basically the red decks, Whitebeard fully banned, and then Zoro and Law took kind of a small hit. And so while obviously, as you can see here, 74 Zoros, 52 Laws, there still were some. Zoro and Law only make up 126 total decks in over 1,300 players, which is a very small portion, right? And then no Whitebeards. So basically that means previous events where 75% were red, all those had to play different decks, and so I feel like a lot of the players kind of just defaulted into Katakuri, right? It's a great deck. You can, trig really high. The ceiling on the deck is not that high because it relies more on luck. The turns are very monotone, unlike Law, unlike Zoro. But I feel like a lot of players, they went with the safe option. They said, let me play, Katakuri. A lot of the other players thought the same exact thing when the bans happened, right? And so, let's talk about the next one. We have 194 Doflamingos. Definitely, I want to think and say that a portion of this was because of me winning. A lot of players started taking, all of my videos and the matches that I showed off and all my commentary and just, getting a great feel for this deck and what its potential is. And then obviously when the bans happened, it kind of solidified that, okay, green is actually in a really good spot now. And so I didn't expect the number to be this high, but I'm surprised. And I'm also glad, I'm happy. I'm very happy. There is 194 Doflamingos. So, I love green. That color is awesome. This leader is amazing. And so I'm super happy to see that. Next up, we have 93 Crocodiles. So another one I am kind of surprised on. I know there's one thing that we need to get clear here is Rebecca definitely underperformed, right? We're almost, 2 or 3 weeks until this set 4 ends. And I feel like Rebecca has been the one deck that performed slightly better in Asia than has performed here, which I'm not too sure on why that is. Maybe just our players don't like Rebecca. But for the most part, that's a topic for another day. We see blue Crocodile, which is the third highest. And then we have Kid. Captain Kid, we've known, has been good for a very long time. He rivals Doflamingo. And I think, obviously, as you can see, second. God damn, I'm burping. And fourth up here, we have Kid. So 86 kids, which is honestly still a great number. Personally, I believe green is the best color currently in this, 4.1 meta. I truly believe green is the best color. And so we did see a good amount of green decks here. Next up, we have Zoro, 74 Zoros, definitely a step down. Obviously because of the bans. We have 61 queens, 58 Namis, 55 aces. So ace kind of popular, even more decks than Law, right? I would feel like you would see more Laws. But the thing is with like Law, the thing is with Zoro, you kind of have to come into this tournament with completely brand new list. And so that takes a lot of testing. That takes a lot of time. And so not everyone has a deck ready. I feel like if, you give this meta, another 2 months of time, we'd probably see Law back on top like crazy. We'd probably see Zoro back on top like crazy, just give people time to figure out the meta. But on such short notice, this definitely makes sense. People defaulted to Katakuri. I had just one with this. And so obviously Whitebeard being banned means that we can go lower to the ground, run Brooks. And so that was a consensus. Obviously for my list personally, I didn't have no outside help, and it kind of hurt me in the end, but that's totally fine. I have a lot of connections now, and so in future tournaments I'm definitely going to talk to a lot of people before, and just get as much information as I can, instead of just continuing and banking on me practicing against my brother and my friends is going to net me enough practice to win again, right? So I definitely have more tools to my advantage now, which I'm definitely going to start using. And let's go over the top 32. We have 10 Doflamingos, 7 Katakuri's, 4 kids, 3 Laws, 2 Zoros, 1 Smoker. This one really surprised me. I knew Law and Zoro were going to, have a top 32. Smoker is a very interesting one over Black Luffy, because I personally believe Black Luffy right now is currently the best black leader. And we have 1 Blue Dofi. Interesting. So 1 was able to make it. We have 1 Croc, 1 Queen, 1 Nami, and 1 Ivankov. This leader right here is probably the most spectacular top 32, because everyone knows this deck as it's tier 3, it's below tier 2, you shouldn't play it, you're not going to win. And someone made it happen. And I think just looking at these pie charts alone, I feel like there's a lot of information, and it shows you just by the bans and the restrictions they made how healthy this meta actually is. Like we see Katakuri being the most played, but it's not even the most represented in the top 32. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 11 leaders in the top 32, right? And no leader has over like 50%, 40% of the top 32 placements. The leader breakdown is good. I feel like this, seeing this many leaders in the top 32 just means it's possible, right? And so definitely for the meta, it is good that they did those restrictions and the ban. But I'm also glad that in OPO5 they're stopping those bans and the restriction, because in OPO5 there are leaders that can combat the Whitebeard, that can combat the Law, and it makes it a lot easier for them. So let's go over the top 32 deck list. We're going to show off a couple of them, and we will go from there. Let's try to get some different ones here. We already have a kid. And we'll do this. We'll do the Smoker. So, as you can see, first place was Katakuri. First place took it over a Law. Thunderbolt trigger off Last Life. I didn't watch the match, so I'm not sure if he placed it there or not, but he got a Thunderbolt trigger off Last Life, and I won't spoil it, but that netted him the win, and I just spoiled it. But obviously there's no spoilers like we see there that the Katakuri won. Anyways, second place was Kid, Andres Rivera, Chewy. He's actually from one of my locals. He's an amazing player. The last time I played him, he ended up taking the local. He went 5-0, and I went 4-1. I lost to him. Super proud of him. He's an amazing player, and yeah, you guys are gonna see a lot of us in the future tournaments topping, so be ready for that. And then third place, a Doflamingo. Super happy about this. Super happy that we got a Doflamingo in the top 4. I love all my Doflamingo players. You guys have been carrying. You guys have been carrying this tournament. Obviously, I wasn't able to do good enough to get a top placement, but you guys definitely showed up and showed out. As you can see here, 194, and we had 10 in the top 32. So 10 of these lists right here are all Doflamingos, which is amazing to see, right? Then we have a Zoro in 4th place. Very good placing. Him being the only one in top 32 and getting 4th is amazing. We have a Law. I think this is the one that lost in the finals, so he got 5th place. We have another Doflamingo in 6th, another one in 7th, and then a kid in 8th. So in the top 8, we had 3 Doflamingos, 2 kids, 1 Zoro, 1 Law, and 1 Katakuri. So five green decks in the top 8. Just proves that green is the best color currently, and there's no debating that. Green is definitely the best color. So let's go ahead and look up some of these deck lists. So this is the first place deck list here. Let's go ahead and go full screen and go over it. See kind of what he was running. Sorry if I sound a little sick. Pasadena was amazing. I met a lot of cool people, but you know what comes with traveling? A lot of bacteria, a lot of sleepless nights, not drinking enough water, not eating enough. You might get sick, but I feel okay. I think we're good. Let's get back to this list. So we have 3 Shirahoshis, which is very, very valid. That's standard, I think, in my opinion. 4 Strusens, you need the 2Ks, 4 Searchers with the pudding, 4 Beige, yep, standard, 3 Amandes. I like the change. A lot of people run 4 Amandes, but you know, you take one out instead of having that extra 2K, because if you need one Amande to close out a game, you'll probably have it in hand. If not, you're just using them as 2Ks, and so I like that. 3 Peros, oh no, 4. He just has an alt art. 4 crack. Oh wow, so he's running 4 Peros, 4 Sanjis, 4 crackers, and 2 smoothies, right? And so I was kind of testing like a tempo category list with all 16 triggers, those 4, running 4 of. And so he kind of did that, except just minus 2 smoothies. He did run 2 Randolphs and 3 Peros. I know a lot of lists had taken out the 6-drop Peros because it felt bad. But at the end of the day, it's still a big vanilla, and it gives you something to do on curve. And it is a 1K counter. This list is very simple, right? 3 Linlins, 3 categories, 4 Moms, 3 Bolts. So running 3 Bolts, a lot of lists ran 4. But I mean, 3 is fine, right? No Yamatos in this list. I know a lot of categories that are running Yamatos, and so this list is just more, let me see my 7 Mom. If I need my 8, if I need my 8 cost, I'm gonna see it. And you know, as much 10 Moms as you can play in the game, right? So you always run 4 of those. I feel like the category lists aren't always too far off from each other, because you know you have certain cards you just have to run, like the 4 Moms, the 4 Beige, the 4 Sanji, stuff like that. You just, the 4 Peros, right? You kind of just have to run those. So interestingly, he has no blocker brulees. Some lists definitely do tech those in. So it's an interesting list. Congratulations to him. He did amazing. I like this list. I like this list overall. It's a faster paced list, especially with all the trigger units that you can grab. And yeah, you know, just casino to the one. I was telling my brother, because he was on Katakuri this weekend, and so I was like, you know, if Katakuri's gonna win, this is the moment. He doesn't have to worry about Zoro shutting him down. He doesn't have to worry about Whitebeard shutting him down. He doesn't have to worry about Law rushing him down to the extent that it was before. And yeah, and it actually won. So congratulations to him. Let's go to the next deck list. So this is the second place deck list. This is Chewys list. We're gonna go ahead and go over it. Boom. We have the 4 Bonnies for search standard, 4 Chopper, 3 Bardos, right? I know some run 2, some 3, right? You got to have the Bardos. If you're running Kid, you have to have the Bardos. I'm sorry. There are Dofi lists where you can tech in 1 and stuff like that, but you don't need it in Dofi. In Kid, I do believe that you need at least some Bardos. 4 Appos, 4 Ezos. The Ezos are huge to get value. You know, you use a 2K, but then you can get rid of board from, you know, start swinging for value on something in their board. 3 Usopp, 4 Nami, 4 Brook, 4 Zoro, 4 X-Drake, 2 Frankie, 4 Luffy, 4 Doflamingo, and 2 Punks. I think the 4 X-Drake is really huge in the mirror, because, you know, you can just have your units swing, and then boom, if they have a perfect 4-drop like a Nami on board, you can just boom, X-Drake, it's gone. Now you establish the unit and got rid of, you know, their searcher. But yeah, this list is very strong, very strong. It's Film Kid, right? It's a basic deck. Just runs your film package. You got to play your cards right, and Chewy did, and he got 2nd place. Huge congratulations to him. This list is definitely amazing. It's gonna do really well in these last couple tournaments, and so I'm super excited to see what actually ends up happening. I know ST10 now from here on out is legal. It was not legal in Pasadena, but from here on out, it is going to be legal. So I definitely want to see, and I'm going to actually test a little bit of the green into like the new Luffy and the new Law, because I know some people are playing those, and so definitely gonna get some practice in there. I probably won't be playing Doflamingo at this Treasure Cup this weekend. I'll probably be on Magellan. Just letting you guys know that now. But yeah, super big congratulations to my homie Chewy. He's an amazing player. And he got a great 2nd place in a tournament with over 1,300 people. And so yeah, no, that takes a lot of brain power to, you know, go 10 rounds and just lose 1 match, right? So huge congratulations to him. Let's go ahead and go to our 3rd list. This is our 3rd place Doflamingo list. And if you guys don't know, I did make a video already yesterday. It was kind of late. We like to upload, you know, at our given times, but I was traveling. I was driving home. It was a lot of time. I had a decklist video prepared. Obviously, wasn't able to release it in time. I wanted to add some more information. So I got home, boom, finished it out, and you can go watch that. But I'm going to go over this list. And I think the biggest factor that I found out was this 8-cost kid. I played into 3 green decks my first 3 rounds, and I lost 2 of them, which made me drop. But this 8 cost kid, if I were to have had it, it would have completely changed those matchups, because green really struggles against 8 cost kid. Green, let me say that again. Green really struggles against 8 cost kid, right? So if your opponent has 8 cost kid out on board, and then they have a Luffy set up already, you know, they're they got their blockers. What are you gonna do? You have to commit so much Dawn to even get a swing off on the kid in the first place, and then if they have cards in their hand, they can just protect out. They don't even have to block in the first place. And so now you're gonna have to use up your 7 Luffy attack on your blocker Luffy to try to mitigate or maybe get him to block and kill a unit. It's just, it gets real rough because you don't have any cards that like Katakuri where you can just put it into life, or blue just red rocket. And so it's definitely a card that's super good in the mirror. And I did not realize, like I said, my training partners is my brother on Katakuri and one of my close friends, Fupid, on a blue croc. So I'm practicing every day against these 2 matchups, trying to get matches online with other people to practice other set lists, but it's kind of hard. It was hard for me to get that done. And so my deck was super teched for Katakuri and croc. If I were to have versed Katakuri and blue the whole way, I would have went undefeated, guaranteed. The list I was running struggled against other green decks badly, and then obviously that day I versed all green, right? It was unlucky. But yeah, I like the 2 Kaidos. Kaidos give you a lot of value. You can go ahead and kill one of their big units, and if you're already ahead, you can go ahead and swing without having to worry about protecting yourself, because you're Dofi at the end of the day. You're in a restand 2 Dawn, and so they're never going to be able to go for game if your hand size is 4 cards, 5 cards, and then you're at 2 life, 1 life when you play this Kaido. You're always going to be in a great spot, and it just adds so much pressure. And basically, if you have a position to drop this Kaido, they're on a time crunch. You got 1, maybe 2 turns, but you got 1 more turn before I'm going for game. And so yeah, this card's really good. And then this new 3 sword style onigiri, K3 Soju made a list with this, and then everybody started taking it. So huge shout out to him. Definitely a great card to add into this deck. As you can see, now we have 4 Brooks, we got 3 Bakurats, 4 Usops, 4 Namis, and so we're really low to the ground. We want to spam our board, and then boom, once late game comes, we want to Luffy into something, or we want to play 9 Kaido or 8 cost kid and just spam the board and make sure we have enough resources to defend ourselves. The Queen helps you draw. The Law allows you to pick up your Born of Festas and play a 3-drop. A lot of good things going for this deck. Obviously, we have 11 events, 11 events. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, this is the 3rd playlist. I 100% approve. My list is only about 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 or 5 cards off of this. I like to take in the Bagua or the Hell's Judgment, and I didn't have the Kid. I had 1 less Kaido. I had 2. I had 2 Laws, but on the other hand, I did have 2 Utas as well. This list has no Utas at all, which is not surprising, because when late game hits, you're playing offensive. You're playing your Kaido. You're making your opponent swing into you. And this list got 3rd place. Really happy that we got a good placement there. Let's go ahead and go to the 4th place list. Now we're talking about Zoro. That's a little too big. Let's see what the Zoro got cooking. So this is a really, really great deck list here. Very defensive, very, very control mid-range. We have 2 Otamas, we have 4 Makinos and 4 Magras. So super, super, super aggressive. The 4 Magras is definitely going to net you some good value. We have 4 Izos, 2 Gordons, 1 Fossa, 4 Buggies, 2 Sanjis, 3 Blamenko, 4 Vista, which is really good into Law, and obviously probably the Zoro mirror. And also it's like a pseudo Marco, right? You can Gordon something, Vista, it blows up a 6k, right? So just extra, because you only have 1 Marco now, so you have to take in the Vistas. 1 Jozu, 3 Rush Zoro, 1 Marco, 2 Teaches, another 1 of the 5 cost Marco, 1 Bad Manners, 1 Rad Beam, 2 White Beards, 2 Guard Points, 4 Fire Fist, 2 Jet Pistols. So this list is just everywhere, right? This list has so many cards in it. Definitely has the potential to adapt to every situation, and I think this is a really good list. You still have your 4 Izo searches, you still have your 4 Buggy searches, and so that still allows you to, you don't have the Dawn, but that's why obviously this list has 2 less Gordons, 2 less Otamas, Obviously, they have to tech in more Mogs and Makinos. But if you really think about it, this, if so we have 4, 8, 16, 17, 18. We would only have 18 targets for our Dodon, but we would probably have to take out some of these for the Dodon, right? So the Dodon, while it does hinder you to not be able to search your one drops, I think you just playing less Gordons and less Otamas and being able to naturally see your Mogs and Makinos to buff up your Buggy and your Ezos is just it's a good substitute. Obviously, it's not as good, but it's a good substitute. Just play a little more aggressive. And so this list, yeah, it has the adaptability, it has the defense, and it runs the Whitebeard Pirates to be able to search what you need. And it has Ezos, you can still search. Buggies, you can still search. You know, you need Firefist, you have it. You need Marco, or you need a Vista, you need you can still Ezo search it, right? So you still have this consistency. Yeah, but I think this mid-range style Zoro deck is kind of the only list that will really work for the rest of this set. I tried versing Animal Zoo Zoro. What other kind of Zoros? I think that was it. And then like a different variation of this Whitebeard Zoro list, but it wasn't doing so hot. And so I think this actually, props to him for making this deck in such short notice and getting 4th place with it on Zoro after the restrictions in the ban. So that is amazing. You know, obviously if you're a great deck builder, you know, you can do amazing things like this. I am not one to build an amazing deck. But I'm definitely getting more practice and seeing my, you know, my progress for it. But yeah, this is a very, very good deck. Let me see what I else have. Okay. We still have 2 more here to look at. We have Law up next. And so you can see the disparity in a list like the Zoro versus this Law. This Law list has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 cards. It only has 13 cards in the deck, which make up the whole 50, which is hilarious compared to the Zoro, where he almost filled up 3 rows with cards. Here we have 4 Otamas, 4 Makinos, 4 Beige, 4 Bonnie, 4 Ezo, 4 Thatch, 4 Fossa, 4 Haruda, 4 Vista, 4 Zoro, 4 Law, 2 Luffy, and 4 of the restand Laws. So very basic list. No events, which is not bad for Law, because you're Law at the end of the day. You know, you have your Bonnie to search. Now you're adding your Ezo to search. Just have an extra body on board when you do play it. And things to avoid, like the 1 cost KO cards. For example, like Rebecca, you know, you got the on curve going second, Haru to play, or, you know, being able to have just a Vista is good for the mirror, good into Zoro. And yeah, this just plays to Law's strength, right? You have, you know, different cards, right? Because you can't really play how you used to with Dodon and Nami, but you can just play around that, you know, play your Vistas, play your Zoros, keep your board up. Shambles may be a little late, but then once you get your Shambles off and you see your cards and you see your Bonnie searching and you're seeing your Laws, it's back to just Law. It's back to Law. You're rushing down your opponent. You know, you're swinging with Zoro. You're shambling Law, picking up the Zoro, replaying Zoro. You know, swinging again. Next turn you're going 13k, restand 13k. You know, you're doing your Law things. At the end of the day, what makes Law great is not the cards. It is the ability. You know, it is the ability. And that's final, right? So if you're seeing your cards, Law is still going to do what Law does. And so huge congratulations to him for topping with Law. But that is all I'm going to say about this list. We've seen that list far too many times for me to go into more depth about it. But yeah, congratulations to all these players, man. So Smoker, I think this is the last list. Smoker list. Let's go over it. We have 4 Suru, 4 Kobe. So a lot of removal, brand new for searching. We have your Bardos, which are 2Ks and blockers, could be used in both situations. Tashigis and Suru, so a lot of removal cards here. We have Kuzan. You have to run Kuzan, right? Just an amazing draw 1, and then if your opponent doesn't deal with it, you know, you can swing at something they play next turn and just blow it up. 4 Borsa, 4 Sabo, 2 Smoker. I like that tech. You don't see that too often in black decks. 4 Sakazuki for more removal. Isho, 1 Isho, interesting, and 3 Kuzans and 2 Shanks. I love the Shanks. I don't care what anyone says. If you are in a position, because games are always different. If you put yourself in a position where you can Isho or even Kuzan, and then you have that Shanks in hand, and then you just drop that Shanks, and now you blow up everything 6 costs or less, their whole board is gone. My partner Jim, Awaken TCG, the other half of Awaken TCG, he was playing Black Luffy, and he did a play, that same exact play, where he had a Kuzan on board. He was versing a green purple Dofi. Next turn he goes Shanks, and he blew up his board. He didn't kill the 7 Luffy, but he was able to just attach 1 onto Kuzan, swing 11 at the Luffy, gone. And it killed 4 units. On top of that, you have to understand, Black Luffy, he got 4 KOs. That's 4 Dawn onto the Luffy, and then he killed the Luffy on board with the Kuzan. Now he has 5 Dawn on his Luffy. He's swinging at life for 10,000, and your opponent just has to take that, and your whole board just got cleared, right? And so very, very combo heavy, but if you pull it off, is going to net you the win every time. We have 2 Great Eruptions and 4 Impact Waves. So I'm not much of a black player, nor do I practice against much for me to be able to really have a great opinion on a list like this. But it seems like the ratios are good. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 12 2Ks, which is pretty standard, right? Lists like Whitebeard want to run maybe like 16. Lists like Dofi maybe want to run, downwards towards 8, 10. Other lists, I would say on average is about 12, which is pretty standard. Yeah, this list looks nice. I love the Sabos to be able to cycle and see your cards. You stall, you Sabo. You have some you need to kill, Tsuru Sakazuki. So a lot of control, and a really good list. And shout outs to the Smoker player for topping. It takes a lot. Trust me, it takes a lot to be able to top with a deck that is not meta. Even when I won, I had a pretty good run. I didn't verse any blue. The list I had for that tournament in particular, if I would have ran into any blue decks, I'm auto scooping. And so a lot of it is matchup dependent, and then you usually gotta honestly like put your head down, tough it out, and just play your best. Just try to minimize your mistakes, and you'll see a lot of success, regardless of the deck. And that's why I love this game. Is we have an Ivankov in top 32. If you just grind, learn your lines, learn matchups, get a lucky matchup spread in your tourney, you are going to have success with whatever deck. It does not matter. And that's why I love this game so much. It's unlike anything I've ever played. I've dabbled into card games before, never competitively, but I've definitely seen some how other games play out. But I'm living One Piece, making content every day. Yeah, guys, but that is the Smoker list. We went over a couple of lists and highlighting it. Not gonna highlight any other lists. You guys can go to this website. It'll be down in the link below, the first link in the description. But what an amazing tournament. I had an amazing time. The vlog is going to get uploaded sometime this week. I need to go through a lot of footage, cut out a lot of parts, see what I'm going to use, see kind of how I'm going to make it, because I've never made vlogs before. So it should be a fun video. But for now, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me. Going over the list, but I'm super happy from what I'm seeing. And so I know the rest of these tournaments that are to come are going to be good tournaments. We might see even another spicier deck win, right? Appreciate you guys. Like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you thought about this, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.